Hey guys, this is EJ Holland with the Wolverine.com, and today we're going to be breaking down 5 quarterback recruits to know in the 2025 recruiting class. Obviously, Michigan already has its quarterback commit in Jaden Davis in the 2024 recruiting class. Davis is the guy. They aren't going after any other signal callers this cycle. So Kirk Campbell, Michigan's new quarterbacks coach, has a chance to focus in on the 2025 class, and he's already offered a number of prospects at the position next cycle. And that list starts off with Bryce Underwood, the number 1 quarterback in the country, the number 1 overall prospect nationally, the number 1 prospect in the state of Michigan, and the number 1 overall target on Michigan's recruiting board. Michigan has the lead on the On3 recruiting prediction machine with a 41.7% chance of landing him. As things stand right now, this has turned into a Michigan LSU recruiting battle. LSU hosted him for a multi-day unofficial visit in July. Underwood flew from Baton Rouge back home and made his way to the barbecue at the Big House on that Sunday for the final day of the event at Michigan. Right now, Michigan, again, has the lead on the On3 recruiting prediction machine. They've done a really good job of building relationships with Underwood and those around his recruitment. Kirk Campbell has been a massive upgrade over Matt Weiss, particularly in this recruitment. He's been able to build that connection with Underwood, and I think Campbell is definitely helping. But of course, this one's probably going to come down to Jim Harbaugh. You know, he's the guy that played quarterback at Michigan, played quarterback in the NFL, develops quarterbacks. So I think Harbaugh being extra involved with Underwood is imperative, and so far Harbaugh has done that on all of Underwood's visits. Now, LSU presents an opportunity for Underwood to head south and play in the SEC, something he's always been really intrigued by. Like I said, he spent multiple days at LSU in July. He's been there in the past. He's comfortable with the staff there. Brian Kelly obviously has some Midwest ties, and that's certainly helping with Underwood as well. And LSU has an advantage when it comes to NIL. The Wolverines are still figuring out a plan on that front, whereas LSU is fully operational. So it'll be interesting to see just how big NIL is a factor for Underwood. Now, Michigan realizes that NIL will likely be a factor. It's just nature of the beast when it comes to, you know, a top-level quarterback and the number 1 guy in the entire country. So I think the Wolverines are preparing for that, but will it be enough? I'm still skeptical because Michigan, again, doesn't have a firm plan when it comes to NIL on the recruiting trail. But I think Michigan checks a lot of boxes for Underwood. The program's close to home. He's also comfortable with guys on the team. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think it's going to come down to fall visits and, like I said, how NIL shapes up at Michigan. Underwood is looking to make a decision in January. So Michigan's going to wait it out with Underwood, but they're not exactly going to do the all your eggs in one basket approach like they did with Jaden Davis this past cycle. I think that approach has, you know, even though it worked out with Davis, is kind of an archaic approach, not one that Michigan should take moving forward, and Kirk Campbell realizes that, and that's why he has options on the board that are not named Bryce Underwood. So again, they're going to wait it out with Underwood. He is making a decision relatively early in January. So if Underwood picks Michigan, that's great. If he doesn't pick Michigan, then the Wolverines do have some other options. And that list starts off with George Macintyre, the number 2 quarterback in the country and the number 13 overall prospect nationally out of Nashville, Tennessee, Brentwood Academy. I had a chance to see Macintyre play last year against Michigan commit Mason Curtis. Macintyre is a big pocket passer at 6'6", 185 pounds, a lot of arm talent there. SEC schools are considered the favorites here. Alabama has a 36% chance of landing him. According to the On3 recruiting prediction machine, Tennessee is next in line. LSU, who's also involved with Underwood, is also involved with Macintyre. So right now, I think Alabama is definitely the team to beat. I think the On3 recruiting prediction machine has that right. But Macintyre has a strong relationship with Campbell. He visited this offseason. He's definitely interested in Jim Harbaugh's resume as a quarterback and a coach. So Macintyre is definitely one to watch as well if Michigan does miss out on Underwood. But, there would be some work to do with the nation's number 2 quarterback who hails from SEC country. Next on the list is Husan Longstreet, top 100 prospect out of Corona, California, goes to Centennial High School. He's ranked as the number 7 quarterback nationally and the number 99 overall recruit in the country per the On3 recruiting prediction machine. Now, something that's interesting with Longstreet is Michigan leads on the On3 recruiting prediction machine. The Wolverines have a 41.7% chance of landing Longstreet, which is the exact same percentage as landing Underwood. So I think Longstreet is a very realistic option if the Wolverines do not land Bryce Underwood. He's 6'2", 185 pounds. He's kind of Jaden Davis-esque, maybe a little bit more athleticism there. Kurt Campbell has visited Longstreet on multiple occasions during his travels to California. Longstreet visited Michigan in late May. He also threw in front of Kurt Campbell at the Wolverines satellite camp at Wayne State in early June. So there's definitely familiarity there. I think there are some other top programs involved, primarily Oregon, which obviously would allow him to stay out west. He also has offers from schools like Washington and Utah, as well as national programs like Miami, Florida State, and Ole Miss. But right now, Michigan in a really good position. I think Campbell will keep in touch throughout the fall and make his decision on whether to press for Longstreet or not after Underwood makes his decision. The next quarterback on the list is Bear Bachmeier, the number 9 quarterback and number 112 overall prospect nationally out of Murrieta Valley, California. Bachmeier is a really interesting prospect. He was supposed to come in for the barbecue at the Big House and had to cancel his trips, but there is legitimate interest from him. He's 6'2", 205 pounds, so kind of a similar athletic profile as Longstreet. I actually covered Bachmeier's older brother, Hank, who ended up playing quarterback at Boise State and ended up at Louisiana Tech. He has another brother, Tiger Bachmeier, who currently plays for Stanford, and that's primarily why Stanford is considered the leader on the On3 recruiting prediction machine with a 29.7% chance of landing him. There are some other big players here. Alabama's in the mix. Oregon is in the mix as well. But Campbell's visited Bachmeier a couple of times during his trips out west. Like I said, Bachmeier was looking to visit for the barbecue at the Big House, and that didn't happen. But it wouldn't be surprising if he does make a visit to Michigan, whether it's this fall or in the spring if Underwood goes elsewhere. But Bachmeier is definitely on the board and a guy Kurt Campbell really likes. And lastly, we have Ryan Montgomery, the number 18 quarterback and number 240 overall prospect nationally out of Findlay, Ohio. Ohio State has the lead on the On3 recruiting prediction machine with a 22.8% chance of landing him. Michigan is next with a 20% chance of landing him. Now, Ohio State recently landed their quarterback commit in Tavian St. Clair, so it's unclear if the Buckeyes are going to take 2 quarterbacks next cycle. Ohio State is home to his older brother, Luke Montgomery, who actually picked Ohio State over Michigan last cycle. So that's a big reason the Buckeyes are trending on the On3 recruiting prediction machine. With that said, Michigan has hosted Montgomery a ton. Out of all the quarterbacks on this list, not named Bryce Underwood, Montgomery is the most realistic, I think, followed by Husan Longstreet. But I think Montgomery, being a Midwest kid, is even more realistic than Longstreet if Michigan does miss out on Underwood. Montgomery's been to Michigan a ton. He's made so many visits. I think it's up to double digits at this point. He threw in front of Kurt Campbell in the spring, as well as at Michigan's summer camp in June. So Campbell's very familiar with what he brings to the table. Montgomery's very familiar with Campbell, with the Michigan program, with Jim Harbaugh. So, it's Montgomery's definitely one that I think, if Michigan misses out on Underwood, he could easily become the guy. Montgomery's 6'3", 210 pounds. He's a good frame pocket passer, but he does have some athleticism and ability to run. He's a really good basketball player as well. But Michigan right up there for Montgomery. Like I said, we'll see what Ohio State decides to do. Penn State is another program in the mix here. Georgia's hosted him for a visit and was listed in his top group as well. But Montgomery definitely one to keep an eye on as well. Like I said, Bryce Underwood is going to make his decision in January, but Kirk Campbell has other options. And these are some of the names to know at the quarterback position. For more on Michigan recruiting, make sure to subscribe to thewolverine.com today for $49.99 for 1 year or $1 for 1 month. Limited time offers, so take advantage. Also, like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for free.